Welcome to Dr. Bhaskaran Pillai's Human Evolution web series on Nambu Botanicals. Today we're going to talk about herbal health for the mind, for the body, and for the spirit. And in this webinar, what we want to do is we want to go over some of the education, sort of the foundation about Nambu Botanicals, what makes us special, how we are founded on some of the principles of Siddha Technology, Siddha Medicine. It's a Siddha Health System founded in southern India. And also what does it really mean to take a herb that has the principles and the crafting of the Siddha lineage in it, and how it can actually affect and help and benefit the mind and the body. And we're going to go into a little bit more deeply about how that also affects your karma, how that affects your chakra systems, how you can do all sorts of clearing through our Nambu Botanicals formulas in emotional health and psychological health. I wanted to talk a little bit about myself. So I'm a director of Vopec Pharmaceuticals, which is an herbal pharmaceutical company founded by Dr. Pillai in South India. I'm also a co-founder of Nambu Botanicals, along with Dr. Pillai, who's our chairman. And this company and getting involved in herbs wasn't something I have traditionally been involved in. I really spent most of my career in technology. I had my own companies, had two companies in Manhattan on Wall Street working investment banking. I took a trip to India in 2001. That trip and immersing myself in all the Vedic technologies that are here had really just profoundly changed my life and made me look very deeply into bringing these technologies to the West. It was really my passion, was to sort of bring and sciencify these technologies so they could be understood, consumed, and benefited by everybody in the West. And two of the health systems here, Ayurveda and Siddha Medicine, mostly Siddha Medicine, I got sort of more deeply involved in, and became familiar with, ended up going to the hills where these herbals grew, interacting with Siddha masters who know how to work with these herbal formulas, how to prepare the formulas, and all the astounding benefits, health benefits that these formulas have given people. And that's what's here in India. Nambu Botanicals, we manufacture in the United States, but we have some of the Siddha principles and some of the Siddha technologies embedded in our formulas. And we're going to talk more about that as we go along here. So herbs are alive. And in India, they give health to our mind, our body, and our soul. And how it actually happens is the vibrations and frequencies from the years of worship and chanting and mantras, basically the system of life here, have made the herbs and the plants grow here very, very sacred and full of really mysterious benefit, and to the energy body, to the soul, to the astral body, and to the mind. So everything is intimately connected, from the body to the mind, to your soul, to your psychological. Everything has this web of interrelation. And what we do is we use a 5,000-year-old lineage of herbs and diagnostic health technology. And what this does, basically, it empowers our herbal products and releases the nuclear potential. So primarily how we do that is in the West, since we manufacture everything in U.S. FDA-reviewed GMP, CGMP facilities, and do a lot of testing to our herbs. We also put sounds, vibrations into our formulas, like I said, to release the nuclear energy. Now, this is something that we've borrowed from the Siddha Masters, and of course, Dr. Pillai is an enlightened Siddha Master. So we've borrowed this technology with permission to apply to our herbs to give the benefit to the West of being able to interact, being able to have an experience with an herb that has, you know, a strong vibration to it, which gives protection to the, like I said, the energy body and the subtle body. It also gives quite a bit of the health benefits as well, to the organs, to the tissues, to the cells, and so forth. Who is Nambu? Nambu is short for Nambu Naiki. Dr. Pillai chose to name his botanical company Nambu Botanicals after this goddess, Nambu Naiki. Her shrine is in South India, in Rameshram, which is a little island off of South India, and it's also happens to be where Dr. Pillai grew up, in Rameshram. And this shrine that she has, people come to visit her into Rameshram to seek her blessings for health, for physical, for emotional, and for karmic suffering as well. And so our company is aptly named as Nambu Botanicals after the goddess of healing. What is Nambu Botanicals' mission? Our mission is to help people find a more conscious way to lead their lives, to be able to not accept compromise in their life, to be able to change thought patterns that aren't healthy, to be able to change behaviors and actions that aren't healthy, and to be able to replace those with audacious goals, with patterns and thoughts and actions and behaviors that actually raise you to another level. So why is herbal health important? In this slide, we talk that 85% of Americans don't get enough nutrients from their diets. With herbs, you can replace that nutrient gap in many different ways. And some of the ways that herbs help your body function are by reducing free radicals, by improving the cellular health, by preventing either a cognitive decline or boosting memory, or just allowing your cognitive functions to work much better. And then also working on the organ, the tissue, the layer of the nervous system. Herbs have a far and wide-reaching benefit for the body and the mind and the brain. So herbal sound infusion is just sort of a fancy word for saying that we combine phonemes or power words, sacred words, with herbs. So if you were on some of the previous human evolution webinars, you know all about phonemes and why they're actually important to herbal therapy and to Nambu Botanicals herbs is that it increases the potency of the natural effect of the herbs. And it also seems to have quite an effect on bringing out protective and detoxifying qualities in the subtle or the auric body. So that's sort of the body that surrounds your physical body. Now, what we've done is we've done some studies. We're starting to take up some scientific studies in a lab at a university here in Chennai, India. And some of the early studies that we did, we wanted to feature one of them. And if you go to the next slide, we talk about herbal sound infusion. So these photos are taken from Kirlian photography. It's a collection of photographic techniques used to capture the phenomenon of electronic corneal discharges. And what that really means is it diagnoses and sort of in pictorial form shows the level of spiritual energy of the picture that is being photographed. And here we have our turmeric called High Health. And on the top two, the ones that don't have any color, have gray background, those are the control sample on the left, which is just some turmeric that we bought in the market. And then on the right is our High Health turmeric with the gray backgrounds. Just below them is, after taking the photography, which will show the energy of each of these herbs, is, and as it says here in the caption, the green light shows the presence of healing properties. And how that's deduced is that the left picture here from the control sample has, the left side of the picture is mostly orange and the right side has some green. In the High Health sample on the right, quite a bit of the whole area is green, basically meaning the greenness of the photo gives the pictorial representation in a photograph form, the energy of the herb, the spiritual energy of the herb. So some of our earlier ways of photographing and seeing the effectiveness of our herb, we use this Kirlian photography. We're moving on to much more sophisticated ways of studying our herbs, and in Western traditional medical practices as well. So look forward to sharing that with you once we have our results, or some of the results from our studies done at the university here.
I feel fulfilled in my teaching career at this point of time. Now I am into herbs discovered by the Siddhas for enlightenment. Herbs for enlightenment. There is one particular herb called Eclipta alba. Many Siddhas have talked about it. And the one Siddha who demonstrated to the entire world that you can turn the body into light by just turning his body into light in 1874 is Swami Ramalingam. He says, you don't have to do anything but use this particular herb called Eclipta alba. But then you should have faith in the Guru. And the Guru will not reveal the secret of how it works, even if you just go and stay with him for years and years, because it is one of the herbs that has been secretly, the knowledge has been secretly guarded. But I have come here to this earth plane to make it available to everyone. It can do miracles in terms of changing your karma. It can give you access to the astral body. It will clean up the chakras. So it is something like, using this herb is something like watering the root to enjoy the fruit. Now what we are doing it, we are just working externally by watering the trum fruits and flowers. It's not going to work. So you have to go to the very origin of life and consciousness. And what is that? You have to go to the soul. And once you have addressed the soul, then you have addressed everything. And this herb will act at the soul level, the astral level, and then the bodily level. And for bodily level, what it does, we have research, at least 50 researches that are worth presenting to you. You can go and check it for yourself. But I don't care too much about those scientific researches. But I know this herb is going to solve all problems. It is going to address your karma. Because there is financial karma, there is relationship karma, there is health karma. All this karma will be addressed by this herb. Of course, the body is what is tangible, and then we have research to show what it does to the brain. Just go and look at the research, what it does to the brain. And what it does to the body. So this is the only herb that can address different problems of the body, and finally, and Swami Ramalingam says, it will give you the light body. It will do the miracle of transforming the light body, the meat body into the light body. But then you have to be very committed, and you have to follow the rules. And once you do this, this is really a gift from God. I recommend that everyone should use this herb and then change their karma, change their mind, and change their body. God bless.
A little bit about what the Siddha history is. Dr. Pillai is an enlightened Tamil Siddha master from South India, and this Siddha lineage is really an unbroken ancient lineage of spiritual scientists or alchemists who have reached a pinnacle of human evolution. I think this probably came from a Wikipedia. And Dr. Pillai, as I mentioned, he is a Siddha master, and he's unleashing the Siddha techniques. Now, Siddha in this case with Nambu Botanicals has to do with herbs and bodies of healing. Siddha also, and there are different Siddha techniques that have sound vibrations. There's different Siddha techniques that have to do with how you can use some Vedic knowledge to remedy the body and remedy certain situations that we get into as humans that are somewhat undesirable. So a Siddha in and of itself refers to as a person who has attained a fairly high level of human evolution achievement. They're said to have some Siddhi powers. Siddhi powers are some supernormal powers that allow them to do various things like healing, of course, which is one of them. And now a little bit more about sort of what's in the Siddha system of health or Siddha medicine. And what we are going to do today is we're going to talk with a Siddha doctor. And I want everyone in the West to kind of have an appreciation for what happens and the type of education that a Siddha doctor goes through, because some people sort of, I think, feel that with traditional medicine it maybe has a less robust educational process, but that's not true. In talking with our Siddha doctor, Dr. Shailaja, she has had 8 years of medical education, and that's 5 years of undergraduate and 3 years as a master's and then an internship. And all of this is in mainstream medical universities in South India. So it's not, sometimes, yes, you can get traditional medicine degrees at other places, other universities. This one that Dr. Shailaja got was actually the largest body of universities and medical universities in South India. So this is where she got her Siddha medicine degree. And as we mentioned, it's based on the principles and practices first discovered and written down thousands of years ago by people who are regarded as saints, people who have fairly high evolutionary status and who attain this degree of wisdom. And it's said that there were 18 Siddhas originally, and it's said that what happens with a Siddha master is how he actually discovered the whole herbology and what herbs do to help the human body, is that the plants would actually talk to them. So they'd be walking in the forest, and because they have more powers, they have this ability to communicate with plant systems. And the plants themselves, as the story goes, would tell the Siddha what that plant could be used for, how it could, and how basically they sacrifice their lives so that better health can be achieved by humans. So now what I'd like to do is hear from our Siddha doctor, Dr. Shailaja. I want to welcome Dr. Shailaja, a Siddha medicine doctor with East West. And East West is a sister company to Nambu Botanicals. East West Institute specializes in integrating Eastern and Western methods of diagnosing and prescribing natural formulas for health problems, particularly herbs. Dr. Shailaja, thank you so much for being with us today. And I'd like you to, if you could, just give a little bit of a brief summary on the education that you go through as a Siddha doctor here in India, in South India, so that the Western people can understand that it's a truly robust curriculum and has many ties also with modern medicine. But I'll let you describe a little bit about your education.
Thank you, Beth. I'm honored to be here to make a pathway between the Eastern system of medicine and Western system of medicine. I had my 8 years of academic curriculum in Siddha Medicine, which is 5.5 years undergraduation course and 3 years master's course. I have mastered in pharmacological aspect of Siddha Medicine. So to give a short introduction about the academic curriculum of Siddha Medicine in South India, I have to say what are all subjects covered in Siddha Medicine. So it will be the subject itself is an integrated way of learning. Like we'll be learning Western system of medicine, a few part, and the Siddha Medicine, a deeper part. So the first year of syllabus will be having a philosophical part of Siddha, their history, and what are all the philosophies of Siddhas. And then we'll be learning about the medicinal botany, how the plants, trees, various parts of the herbs can be used used in medicine with the modern scientific knowledge. Then is the biochemistry we'll be learning. Then second year, of course, we'll be learning the anatomy and physiology of the body of both Siddha and the modern way. And then third year, we'll be learning about the pharmacology part, which comprises raw materials from plant kingdom, metals, minerals, and animal kingdom. Then we'll be learning about the toxicology, forensic medicine, hygiene, social and preventive medicine, and pathology of both Siddha and modern. The final year is the huge one comprising of medicine, which comprises general medicine, special medicine, surgery, gynecology, and pediatrics. So this is a very, it is a whole thing we'll be learning as an undergraduation. And then we have academically recognized specialized courses in Siddha. So I have completed my master's in Gunapadam.
So that's 5 years of Siddha Medicine education, and then 3 years of master's, and you do a 6-month internship too, right? So that's pretty robust. What drew you to Siddha Medicine? What attracted you? What was that special thing that made you want to get into Siddha Medicine and practice Siddha Medicine?
I come from southern part of India, the Kanyakumari. It is a hub for Siddha medicine and Varma medicine, you would have know. That is a major hub for the indigenous medicines of India. So basically I'm hailing from a traditional medical family, very down to the, very south to the India. So since I have my own traditional family history, I got more interested to learn a course from an institutionally recognized institute. So that was the point I have to go on with the Siddha medicine. Then once I got into the Siddha medicine, I was very surprised and fascinated about Siddhas. Siddhas are spiritual, alchemical, philosophical adepts. They excelled in many fields of medicine. Because Siddha medicine, it not only comprises the medicine to be taken into the oral part. Siddha medicine comprises a greater thing about the philosophy, astrology, Panchapachi, Tantra, Mantra, many metaphysical arts are there. Everything comprises, everything contained into the Siddha medicine. So, I saw there are huge things in Siddha medicine once I got into the academic curriculum. So in my third year, we'll be learning more about the pharmacological aspect of the Siddha medicine. So everything will be in a poetic lines of Siddhas. There are 18 Siddhas. They have given their contributions as oral tradition, as palm leaf manuscript, paper manuscript, stone inscriptions, and also now many books are available in a printed form. So when I was studying in my third year of my undergraduation, I came to know about, I came across many conditions for which the Siddha answers in a very good way. So that was a basic thing which drawn me a great interest to learn about the Siddha.
Thank you. Also, I hear that these 18 siddhas, primarily Saint Agastya, is the father of Siddha medicine. As I understand it, what they would do is they actually would go into the forest, see a plant, and they had the evolution to be able to look at that plant and see what conditions in the body that plant would actually remedy. And then they would take that and write it down on palm leaves way back when, which was about 5,000 years ago. I know you also have a personal interest in getting into the ancient language and being able to look at these palm leaves, or actually these poetic language. Is it true that everything from Siddha medicine stems from, or much of what's in Siddha medicine stems from these incredibly wise bodies of knowledge?
Yeah. It was a good question, Beth. I could say the history of Tamil. Tamil is one of the classical languages of the world. I think many people will know Tamil is one of the classical languages of the world. So we can say history of Tamil language is the history of Tamil medicine, because all the poetic lines of the Siddhas were written in Tamil language. So if we want to trace back the history of Tamil medicine, we have to trace back the history of Tamil language. History of Tamil language dates back to 5000 years BC with a grammatic text called as Tolkappiyam. So this Tolkappiyam gives you enormous information about human life and also about the language. So this is the point of very ancient than the Tolkappiyam is a literature called as Agatyam, which is extinct now because of many tsunamis or because of many natural calamities which would have taken place many years back. The Agatyam is lost today. But the name Agatyam, it was written by a sage Agatya. The sage Agatya, he is called as the father of Siddha medicine, like Hippocrates for Western medicine. So he is the first to give enormous contributions to Siddha medicine. Then comes his 18 Siddhas. Agastya is the primary Siddha, is the prime one. Then comes his Tirumular, Bogar, Ramadevar, Punnakesar, Punekannar. There are 18 Siddhas. This 18 Siddhas, the name 18, it has spiritual value in India. Like the 18 is called as the 18 kind of enlightenments, that is the accomplishment or stages they would have taken in their spiritual side. So the spiritual people, they have given enormous contributions in Siddha. The sage Siddha Tirumular, what he emphasizes is only a healthy body remains a healthy soul. If you want to excel in a spiritual life, you should have a healthy body. In Tamil we'll say Udambar Ariyin Uyirar Arivar. That is the healthy body is very important. For that, the Siddhas say there are few herbs, few minerals and few animal products which are available in nature to maintain our better health, to keep away from diseases and to increase our aging, and also to prevent or postpone the changes of aging, like graying of hair, wrinkling of skin. That is anti-aging medicines. They come under a very simple context called anti-aging medicines. So this is the way the Siddhas have given their contributions.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dr. Shailaja. I just want to kind of circle back around on something that's unique about, I guess, Eastern medicine or Eastern bodies of knowledge as it relates to therapy and health. There's a mind-body connection, and at Nambu Botanicals we talk a lot about that. So this mind-body connection really means that it's kind of vice versa. If you have a state of mind that's not balanced, then actually it can cause a condition in the body or a problem in the body. Vice versa, if you have, let's say, I know we were talking about intestinal problems and how that actually can affect our mind state, kind of make us nervous and that type of thing. Can you maybe talk about a couple of the herbs that Nambu Botanicals has, and that's Eclipta alba. I think you call it Bringaraj in Karasali in Tamil. Right. Can you just talk a little bit about how these two herbs and the mind-body connection works with each of them?
So for this question of Beth, I have to answer with a simple concept of Siddha about Vada, Pitta, Kapha. So Vada, Pitta, Kapha, it's called as three basic humors inside the body. A balance in these three humors maintains a good health. If any problem with the body, it is reflected as the some health conditions in ours. So this Eclipta alba, that Karisale in Tamil, in Siddha we say it as a Karisalangani. This herb, it has got property to reduce pittam inside the body. This pittam, it is responsible to maintain our gastric secretions. It is responsible to maintain vision, sharpened vision, and to boost memory and to take good decisions. So if any problem with the pitta arises, there will be conditions associated with the GI tract and also with eyes and memory. So Eclipta alba is a herb which will reduce pittam inside the body. So it automatically boosts the conditions of, it will help in keeping away from conditions of gastrointestinal tract. It will give you it will help you to maintain vision and also to improve your memory. So this is the point why Eclipta alba should be taken regularly. And if we go for pharmacological analysis of this herb, it has got good hepatoprotective properties, which is helpful for gastrointestinal conditions, and it also boosts memory because it has neuroprotective properties and nephroprotective properties. So and it is also rich in antioxidants, which helps in free radical scavenging in the body, which is the basic culprit to cause many unwanted conditions and health problems inside the body. So this Eclipta alba is a very good herb which can be taken as a supplement, or it can be taken into as anything as a dietary supplement, because in India we supply this herb as a basic greens to take in culinary purpose. So it will automatically help in maintaining the health, prevent away from diseases. And then if we go on to the Bacopa moniri, which is called as Brahmi, it has also got the same properties like Eclipta alba, which is bitter in taste, so automatically reduces the pittam inside the body, which helps in improving cognition and memory. So the Eclipta alba and Bacopa moniri both are antioxidant herbs. We call it as a Kaya Karpa herb, that is elixir or rejuvenating herb in Siddha medicine.
Great. I think actually both of course, Eclipta alba and Bacopa are two products of Nambu Botanicals. And when Dr. Shailaja talks about pittam, she actually means fire. So it's something that's heat, when heat gets into the body, and how too much heat can actually have a destructive effect on certain parts of the body. So I think we're almost here running out of time. I just want to thank Dr. Shailaja for this conversation today, and I look forward to having deeper conversations with Dr. Shailaja about more about Siddha medicine in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. I thank once again for giving me an opportunity to explore and to expand the Siddha medical system to the Western world, and having been given me an opportunity for this platform. Thank you.
In traditional medicine, the mind and the body are intimately connected. And so what we've done with Nambu Botanicals is we wanted to do something really practical and really fun that anyone, even if you don't take our herbs, you can take advantage of this. And that is how to find out what juice you can drink to best remove sort of some of the karmic roadblocks that you face. And how this works is there's sort of a simple questionnaire, and then our specialists review your answers, and they find out what the karmic roadblocks are and we recommend the best juice for you. In the back end, this is a methodology that combines a little bit of Vedic astrology and some Siddha diagnostic techniques, as well as some Ayurveda diagnostic techniques. And we have five doctors on staff. We have 2 Ayurveda doctors and 2 Siddha doctors and a Western medical doctor who's sort of devised and created this methodology. And we wanted to put it out on our website so that, like I said, people could take advantage of it. And why this actually applies to your karma is that since the mind and body are connected, whenever you eat or drink something, particularly something natural, of course, then it's going to have an effect on the body. And there's basically 3 constitutions in the body: fire, air, and water. And each food substance that you eat can create an increase or a decrease or sort of an imbalance in these 3 elements in your body. So we went through and we kind of redesigned a new methodology based on the principles of traditional healing, and we put it into this this juice part of our site so that people can take advantage of, be able to sort of drink juice that makes them have more energy, that promotes weight loss if that's what they're looking for, doesn't give a bloating effect, or just general wellness, better cognitive, more creative abilities. So all of these things I just mentioned actually can be affected by what you eat, what you drink. So we wanted to give people a really practical way to interface with that and to be able to get a recommendation, because everybody drinks juice, whether it's in your smoothie in the morning or maybe you just have it for lunch or you have it for breakfast or something. It's a common food item for most people, particularly all over the world in the West and the East. So inviting you to go and check that out and go ahead and enter in your details so we can help you pick the right juice that will make you feel your optimum today. And now a little bit about karma removal. So Dr. Pillai mentions that our herbs remove the karma in the body. And how that happens is since our herbs have the ability to work with the energy body and detoxify that energy body and the astral body, and we formulated the herbs for the chakras. So basically the pools of energy from your energy body are stored in your chakras, and the chakras are sort of cones of energy, pools of energy in certain areas of your body. And each chakra holds a set of sort of mental, psychological, physical traits or characteristics of the person. And when you're born, through Vedic astrology, we can see where some of the blocks are in the body based on some of the sort of behaviors and ways that we think and even perform in day-to-day life. So what Nambu Botanicals does is our herbs help with this subtle body, help with the physical body, and remove karma that we have that's stored in our physical body, of course. So extra healing for the organs and for the tissue and for the cells, for our brain. But also on the subtle body side, we give protection and healing to the subtle body, which is a lot of the subtle body is where we also hold our karma, or where our karma can enter us. And all karma really means is strong thought patterns. Originally, it's this frequency or vibration that comes to us that makes us think a thought. And then from that thought, a whole chain of reactions happen, from behaviors to actions to relationships to even financial success to physical health to where you live. All of this is determined by basically from a thought in how you use your thinking, your thought patterns. So Nambu Botanicals, our herbs, are formulated with particular phonemes, particular sounds, and for a particular part of the body so that we can alleviate and help with that area or the characteristics of the traits that are stored in that particular part of the body called chakras, and change your thoughts, which subsequently change actions, change behaviors. It changes the things that we attract towards us. So that's how Nambu Botanicals helps in karma removal. In traditional medicine, the mind and the body are intimately connected. And so what we've done with Nambu Botanicals is we wanted to do something really practical and really fun that anyone, even if you don't take our herbs, you can take advantage of this. And that is how to find out what juice you can drink to best remove sort of some of the karmic roadblocks that you face. And how this works is there's sort of a simple questionnaire, and then our specialists review your answers and they find out what the karmic roadblocks are, and we recommend the best juice for you. In the back end, this is a methodology that combines a little bit of Vedic astrology and some Siddha diagnostic techniques, as well as some Ayurveda diagnostic techniques. And we have 5 doctors on staff. We have 2 Ayurveda doctors and 2 Siddha doctors and a Western medical doctor who sort of devised and created this methodology. And we wanted to put it out on our website so that, like I said, people could take advantage of it. And why this actually applies to your karma is that since the mind and body are connected, whenever you eat or drink something, particularly something natural, of course, then it's going to have an effect on the body. And there's basically 3 constitutions in the body: fire, air, and water. And each food substance that you eat can create an increase or a decrease or sort of an imbalance in these 3 elements in your body. So we went through and we kind of redesigned a new methodology based on the principles of traditional healing, and we put it into this juice part of our site so that people can take advantage of, be able to sort of drink juice that makes them have more energy, that promotes weight loss if that's what they're looking for, doesn't give a bloating effect, or just general wellness, better cognitive, more creative abilities. So all of these things I just mentioned actually can be affected by what you eat, what you drink. So we wanted to give people a really practical way to interface with that and to be able to get a recommendation, because everybody drinks juice, whether it's in your smoothie in the morning, or maybe you just have it for lunch, or you have it for breakfast or something. It's a common there's a common food item for most people, particularly all over the world, in the West and the East. So inviting you to go and check that out and go ahead and enter in your details so we can help you pick the right juice that will make you feel your optimum today. And now a little bit about karma removal. So Dr. Pillai mentions that our herbs remove the karma in the body. And how that happens is since our herbs have the ability to work with the energy body and detoxify that energy body and the astral body, and we formulated the herbs for the chakras. So basically the pools of energy from your energy body are stored in your chakras, and the chakras are sort of cones of energy, pools of energy in certain areas of your body. And each chakra holds a set of sort of mental, psychological, physical traits or characteristics of the person. And when you're born, through Vedic astrology, we can see where some of the blocks are in the body based on some of the sort of behaviors and ways that we think and even perform in day-to-day life. So what Nambu Botanicals does is our herbs help with this subtle body, help with the physical body, and remove karma that we have that's stored in our physical body, of course. So extra healing for the organs and for the tissue and for the cells, for our brain. But also on the subtle body side, we give protection and healing to the subtle body, which is a lot of the subtle body is where we also hold our karma, or where our karma can enter us. And all karma really means is strong thought patterns. Originally, it's this frequency or vibration that comes to us that makes us think a thought. And then from that thought, a whole chain of reactions happen, from behaviors to actions to relationships to even financial success to physical health to where you live. All of this is determined by basically from a thought in how you use your thinking, your thought patterns. So Nambu Botanicals, our herbs, are formulated with particular phonemes, particular sounds, and for a particular part of the body so that we can alleviate and help with that area or the characteristics of the traits that are stored in that particular part of the body called chakras. And change your thoughts, which subsequently change actions, change behaviors. It changes the things that we attract towards us. So that's how Nambu Botanicals helps in karma removal. First line of chakra herbal supplements by Nambu Botanicals. So chakras are pools of energy, which I just mentioned, in the body, and they hold certain characteristics and feelings even. These feelings or these beliefs are of thought origin. Basically, they start with a thought in our mind. In our DNA, we hold the genes of our parents, and we also hold the genes of our past lives. It's also actually called soul genetics by Dr. Pillai. In our past lives, in this life, all the actions and the beliefs, the events, the emotions, they give us a tendency to think and act in certain ways. And this is like an expression of our karma. So Nambu Botanicals formulates herbs that clean up the energy body. We formulate herbs with sounds that actually clean up and unblock the areas of the energy body and allow the kundalini to flow, which is the rise of energy in between these pools called chakras. In doing this, it also releases us of our karmic tendencies and, like I said, unblocks certain areas. Now we want to go over some of Nambu Botanicals supplements. Enlightenment formula for the brain chakra. This is definitely Nambu Botanicals' foundational cornerstone key formula. It's with Eclipta alba, and it helps with memory and concentration, giving us sort of a different level of focus. Now I think, and I've read, that Eclipta alba has a relationship with the enzyme or protein with the thalamus, which is the part of the brain that controls our sensory perceptions. And I believe that it's in this relationship that Eclipta alba, although it hasn't been scientifically proven, helps us form, have different sensory perceptions, whether it be communication or vision, in a mystical way. So not so much in the mundane traditional way or in the mundane way, but actually in a mystical way, connecting with universal energies, having different kind of universal experiences. So it really helps deepen a meditation. It gives us what I would consider to be a lot more hope for our meditations because we can reach that deeper state of concentration. It also helps us with our awareness capacity for judgment and sort of the cognitive abilities, reveals a higher state of consciousness, and it calms the mind from excessive activity. Dr. Pillai also refers to Enlightenment formula affectionately as the light body formula. And next we have the new high health formula for the navel chakra. Now this is turmeric with a phytoactive constituent called curcumin, which there's so many benefits of curcumin. If you just Google turmeric with curcumin, you'll have pages and pages of Google entries, some scientific, some traditional, some spiritual, about the benefits of turmeric. And we've put, Dr. Pillai has made the choice to put this turmeric into the navel chakra and formulate it with a sound that helps us with the navel chakra characteristics, which are willpower, confidence, self-esteem, kind of gives us access to having more courage to increase these traits, characteristics, even belief systems in our body and in our mind. And he calls high health as really being the faith formula or the belief formula. So turmeric for the physical body has powerful free radical fighting antioxidants. It maintains the health of brain cells. It prevents cognitive decline, promotes a healthy liver, boosts self-esteem, confidence, and self-trust, and promotes positivity. Now, this is a biggie. Positivity is something that if we have kind of a resilience about us, then we can be really positive and we can carry forth positivity in all the aspects. And as soon as you have positivity, you have more opportunities that you're able to see, that you're able to take advantage of, whether it be events or people. It just sort of penetrates into all areas of our lives and supersizes that area in a positive, benefiting way for us. High Health, the new High Health formula has a pepperine extract, which is black pepper, that creates 1,000-time value of turmeric being absorbed in the body. So according to certain studies that are out there, black pepper will increase the bioavailability of turmeric in the digestive system, which allows us just to interact with that phoneme even deeper. It gives us more access to the spiritual aspects of this herb, but also the physical aspects of it as well, with the free radical fighting and the antioxidants. Our new formula is called Love and Grace formula, and it's holy basil, which is also known as tulsi, and it's for the heart chakra. Dr. Pillai named it Love and Grace for a reason. First of all, of course, the heart chakra, we have the connection with love and being able to give love and receive love and love ourselves. And also grace, which I think is such a great word. So grace is what I find it kind of going towards is, you know, if you can open up that heart chakra, if you can love a lot, then you really kind of attract the grace of God, the grace of other people, and you're able to sort of be in this symbiotic relationship of blessing, receiving blessings and sending blessings. So love and grace is just the pinnacle name for the heart chakra. On the physical side, holy basil or tulsi, it protects against infection. It has this property that reduces anxiety in us as well. So particularly anxiety that's related to like one particular thought or a phobia. And tulsi has this ability, I don't know exactly what the chemical process is, but has this ability to relieve us of that anxiety and kind of calm us down, which is hugely beneficial in the world we live in. It promotes the health of the heart and of the lungs, and with the heart, it kind of protects the tissues of the heart, reduces stress, promotes longevity, and is anti-inflammatory. There's another thing that's kind of interesting I read about tulsi, and that is that you should take it if you're a frequent traveler. And what it does, it kind of reduces the radiation that we experience when we travel, whether it's in the plane or whether just kind of going to different cities. And there's just a natural amount of radiation in the atmosphere anyway. But the higher up you go, the more radiation there is in some cases. So the tulsi has this super duper mystical property that actually reduces the radiation in us and kind of protects our body and makes us healthier in that way. That's just one of the great benefits of tulsi. And next we come to high memory formula for the third eye chakra. So that's the pineal gland. So the third eye is right between the brow, and if you go back, the center of the brain, in the midbrain, is called the pineal gland. The pineal gland is associated with all sorts of things, all sorts of ways we think about time and space. So it's an herb that can speed up our time if we want to access that type of quality in the herb. It can, of course, all the things about the third eye, opening the third eye. Bacopa can definitely have a benefit with us to help sort of cleanse the pineal gland, so awakenings are possible. It improves memory, and that's one of the most well-studied attribute of Bacopa is this memory, increasing and improving memory property. It combats stressful situations or stress itself. It supports brain health, the mind, the intellect, all sorts of things around this, things to do with the brain and in cognitive health. The kind of interesting thing too about high memory is that high memory has an herb called, as I said, Bacopa, which is Brahmi. And Brahmi is named after a god, Brahma, and a goddess, Saraswati. It's actually probably a little bit better known for the goddess properties of it, the goddess Saraswati. And Saraswati controls learning and music, higher levels of wisdom. So when I say controls, it's more like she can grant us access to educational models that are very, very high levels of wisdom. And she can also give us an ability to have an appreciation and be able to use music. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for listening to our first webinar on Nambu Botanicals, explaining about our formulas and our company and the foundation and all the sacredness that we have in crafting our formulas with Dr. Pillai's blessings. And also leave you with a free offer. It's a free gift, and that is from today until Sunday evening, the 28th evening Eastern Standard Time. Any purchase of 2 or more bottles, we will ship you a bottle of Enlightenment formula for free. Now that will be a separate package because we have some in our own storehouse, not at our fulfillment company. So anyone who purchases 2 or more bottles of Nambu Botanicals from now until midnight Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, February 28th, we will ship you an Enlightenment formula for free. So thank you very much, and please do take a moment if you wish to go through some of the testimonies, some of the benefits, and the health, the emotional, the physical, even just the thought belief changes that people have experienced in using Nambu Botanicals. Thanks very much. Have yourself a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.